Hey, what do you say? This is Bobby Blitz from Overkill. That's right, and you are watching Planet Metal. Stay tuned.
Bobby, nice to have you here.
Good to be in Wogel.
Wogel, yeah.
Yeah, in Austria.
You've been here before?
With a few years ago, we took through Destruction and Heathen, and that was our first time at the club, as I remember. But it was a good show.
I remember the tour.
Yeah, a good tour.
Great tour.
I think it's the era of having a good package. I mean, and that's the idea of Overkill Sanctuary through this part of the Europe.
Hammer package.
It's a hammer package, yeah.
It's a thing that's also Hammer is it's 30 years of Feel the Fire now and 28 years of taking over. What do you say? It's half a lifetime.
It's no longer a career; it's actually a life. I mean, I think that once you pass decades, you're into a life as opposed to saying, "Oh, this is my career, this is my hobby," or this is all I've done. My entire life. The thing I've done most in life is Overkill. Yeah. Longer than being married, longer than smoking tobacco, on and on and on. So sure, it's exciting to still be able to do it, and especially do it at a high level.
Mm. But it is you are one of the best-selling thrash bands, I guess. You sold like 70 million worldwide. Estimated.
No, that's
just a figure.
That's Wikipedia. Yeah. I mean, people.
Oh no, I don't have it from Wikipedia. It's just
if we sold 70 million, I didn't. If we sold that much, somewhere I lost the money then because.
Maybe you reinvested it.
We're a working man's band. We're a working man's band. We've never sold 70 million records.
What do you think? How much did you sell?
Oh, if I had to guess, I think that when we had finished Years of Decay, this was 1990, we were at 1 million sales for the first 4 records. So there's been records since. Sales are down. I would think maybe 2 or 3 million records.
But it's still pretty much for a band.
Sure, of course. But I think I think the key is that it's like a niche market. It's obviously not about popularity to the masses. It's about popularity to the minority.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the staying power comes from. Is that we do something we like for people who also like it. Yeah. So it becomes. I suppose more of a community than it is between, musician or artist or person selling product to someone else. It's not that. It's more about a community.
So we all grew up with the band, and you grew up with the audiences. And
well, I haven't grown up yet, but I'm.
Me neither.
But I keep promising my mother I will someday.
But I think it's a big thing that you come out of a blue-collar background, that you're working so hard, that you have to work hard to gain success. Most of the younger bands don't get this point, I guess. Well,
for sure it's a difference between the 80s and 2010. And the difference is that things then were about really blood, sweat, and tears. And I think it becomes it's a little bit different when technology is so at your disposal. That in some cases you don't even have to learn how to play. In some cases,
it might be cool, but it might not.
And I'm not saying all bands, of course not. Yeah. I mean, but I do think that because of technology and changes that I've seen over 3 decades, is that bands from the '80s had to learn how to play, had to know how to play to sell themselves, to gain notoriety or popularity. I think now you just have to make a good song, but you can make that via technology or downloads.
Yeah, of course. Of course. There are plus points, minus points as well.
Yeah, sure. Of course, both.
Yeah.
Both, yeah.
Are you quitting smoking?
You tried it? 2.5 years now. Yeah,
cool.
I stopped. Yeah, so it's a good thing. It was necessary. I had crossed over into my 50s, and my doctor said, "You're on the line." He goes, "It's now or it's never, or it doesn't matter." So I said, "Okay, it's done." Okay. Yeah. So I do this. I vape, especially on the road.
So you don't miss it.
No, I never had a problem with it. I smoked over 35 years, but I never had a problem, because I immediately started getting benefits. And I think, as we were talking about wanting to perform at a high level, that was one of the benefits I got. It felt like I grew a third lung. I'm singing in the studio and I'm saying, shit, my fucking voice feels great.
Like Lemmy's voice now.
but that's, and if they're the benefits from me stopping smoking, and I'm not an anti-smoker. I don't hate people who smoke. It's not like so.
I just saw it. I think I asked.
But it has helped my voice and it has helped my performance. So I received benefits immediately.
But you had a stroke, I guess.
Yeah.
You had a cancer in the nose.
Yeah.
And you had some kind of severe pneumonia.
Yeah.
Kind of shit. So what are you afraid of anymore?
Well, I'm not. I mean, I think it's that's the point. I mean, that kind of shit happens. I remember when I had cancer as a young man. I was in my 30s, and I was riding in a bike club, and I remember sitting with a friend. We were sitting on a river. Another biker I got very close to, and he said to me, he goes, man, and I was feeling sorry for myself because of the cancer. He said, man, he goes, it's not about the problem. It's about getting through the problem.
Yeah.
There's another side to the problem.
Yeah.
You may not like the results, but sure, there's another side. And I said, boy, that's so simple.
Yeah.
So I think that from that learned lesson, that when shit has come up in my life, whether it be pneumonia or whether it be a stroke or something like so, it's about getting through the problem. And it was just a great thing to learn early on in my life that I could take with me to this day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And now you're on the other side.
Yeah, I'm
so
on the other side of the problem.
better side.
I'm waiting for the next problem.
Yeah. So that's why I ask, which things are you afraid of? There is nothing can happen to you.
I was never one of those guys that was afraid of the end. I mean, it's in my case, I think I've learned to enjoy moments, and I think that when a person does enjoy moments, he can tour for 30 years, and he can have a great relationship with a partner like Dee Dee Verney and Dave Linsk and Ron Lipnicki and Derek Taylor, that we can get together and enjoy these moments. And if we do such things, we're writing our own legacy. It's the greatest joke on life is a life well lived.
Yeah. So nobody gets it.
Yeah, so I'm not really afraid. Yeah. Not at this point.
Most of the people sit around and on their deathbed and say, "That's it."
Yeah,
nothing happened.
I don't think all. I don't think that we're unique. I think that we just, or me especially, I've learned that lesson, and it's something that, in my case, I've never forgotten. Yeah. And it takes me from day to day to day, so I can usually enjoy my days.
Cool. You got a recent album out. It's from 2014. It's called White Devil Armory. Who's that White Devil? Can you imagine the White Devil?
It's just a play with words. That's all it is.
Because it sounds cool.
It just sounded fucking great. Dee Dee was messing around with the word armory, and we always look for like a thread to write our songs on. Ironbound was iron. The electric age was the word electric. And, if Dee Dee's writing riffs with electric in his mind or armory in his mind, I know the starting point for every song.
Okay.
So it's just kind of a little trick we did. And he was so into the word, and he kept sending me pictures of armories. What do you think about this for a record cover? What do you think about that? And I was like, it's pretty cool. And I got more and more into it, and I'm scratching down, numbers, 13 armory, and this and that, and black armor, white devil armor.
We did have
armory.
13. We did have 13 years back. Killbox 13 or something.
That's true. That's true. But that's how it was just a play on words, creation by us for us.
Yeah. Talking of record covers, would you do another thing like the Taking Over cover again? It's the only cover the band is on the cover.
Isn't that? And that should be one of the top 10 worst album covers of all time.
I don't know. There are
like
much more worse covers.
They think of the cover as what's inside of it.
Yeah.
But the picture itself, all looking like Rambo with the big muscles.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
That's probably my least favorite Overkill cover.
Yeah. After that, the Bat skull took over.
Yeah, the Bat.
He
was actually created. Charlie was created on Field of Fire. There's a picture of him on Field of Fire in the center. But he became more and more prominent from that. And that was really simple. We were kids, and Iron Maiden had Eddie, and we want one too.
Yeah.
That's all.
You wanted your own Eddie.
Want our own Eddie. Yeah.
You've been here 1989. I looked it up with Nevermore in Europe.
Okay.
And Angel Dust and Nocturnal Rites on tour. Did you think back then that you'd be here 15 years after that, 17 years after that with Sanctuary as well?
No, I mean, you can't forecast something like that.
But did you have the feeling the boys coming back again someday?
I never thought that band was going to come back. I just never did. I thought Over was over, and I thought Nevermore was the new new path.
Yeah.
But I've been close with Jim and Warrell for years now. I like them personally. They pop in to see us when we're in Seattle, or we pop in to see them when they would come to New York and New Jersey. And it makes sense that it's all together.
Yeah.
But would I thought of it? No, I never would have thought that would happen.
How's the tour feeling so far with them?
It's only 4 days. It's great. It's a great package. I mean, the idea to have a good package and show that you care enough to give value for the money. They're going to have possibly one of the metal records of the year with their new release, and
because yours was last year, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. I always tell them, I say, hey man, great record, but always remember that we're better than you.
That's some a night's theme for a night to discuss over that, I guess. You always were a man of the fans, and you always try to go down to the fans and talk to them and drink a beer with them. It's just like he's sitting in the staircase, in this wonderful staircase.
Simple. It actually makes sense.
Yeah. Like two school buddies, smoking for the first time.
Yeah.
Or not smoking, maybe drinking. Oh, no, drinking.
Drinking, talking about girls, smoking.
So, was there ever some encounter which was embarrassing for you, which you thought, okay, this was not so cool because people will get too private to you?
If I never had a stroke on stage, I would never have told anyone. I like my privacy.
Yeah.
I think Overkill is unprivate. I think that when it's Overkill, it's fine. I mean, I like people. I'm a people person. I like talking to them. But sure, over 30 years, you run into problems, and usually those problems they're based on alcohol, or drugs, so that when somebody is, I'll always give somebody 2 minutes of my time, always. But not if they're so drunk that they're falling on me, or not if they're violent, or.
And I don't remember the next day they met you at all.
Well, I remember I was in East Germany once, and a guy kept coming up to me and said "Plek," and I was actually sober at the time. I had stopped drinking for a 10-year period, and I was just taking a walk after the gig, and I said, "I don't have a Plek." I said, "I'm sorry, I don't have one." I shook his hand. He kept following me, and before I know it, he's behind me under a bridge, and now I'm starting. I'm like,
spooky.
What's going on here? It's all dark, and he starts getting really aggressive with me, right? So I start backing up, and I see the bus, and I get to the bus, and he said, perfect English, "I'm going to kill you." And I thought to myself, thank God I have on metal-toed boots. And I kicked him under the chin and knocked him on his back, and then we had the guys pick him up and take him somewhere else. But I mean, that's a unique situation to be in.
Now the people don't mess with Overkill. They kick you.
It was self-defense, obviously. I'm not a violent person. I wouldn't do that. I only stopped him from being violent with me. That's all it was. And but sure, that shit can happen. So
after 17 albums with one cover album and a couple of EPs and singles, do you still feel the fire in the band?
Well, yeah.
Keep it going.
I think it's pretty obvious when you press play for White Devil Armory that there's fire there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of the things I'm most proud of is that it's not obsolete. That it competes. It competes at a.
Food's coming.
Or Essen. Essen. But it competes at a high level, and if we keep getting those opportunities to compete at a high level, then the fire exists, And I think that's one of the special things about this band is that we don't forego opportunities. You may not like certain records or like records more than other records, but we never go in to lose.
Yep.
We're going in to win.
Yep.
That's why we're playing the game. So
into the full.
Yeah, it's all out or it's nothing, and I think that's if I had to describe Overkill, that's what I would say. We play to win. And when that's the case, I think that you get to still feel the fire 17 records later.
I remember saying, I think it was, I didn't remember the rock star who said that. He said, it's not hard to get popular, it's hard to stay popular over the years. So you're still here, other bands aren't.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You're a winner.
I suppose so. I mean, I could never look at this life and say that I have regrets for it because, whether it be personal issues or, some of the greatest things I've ever had happen to me is because of Overkill.
Yep.
I mean, my wife I've met through Overkill. Yep. So when I think of my life and Overkill, I think of it as something that's only positive.
And that's why we are sitting here right now.
In the stairway.
Otherwise,
Smoking, drinking, talking about girls.
The yellow staircase. Well, it was nice talking to you.
Pleasure.
Yeah, and I hope, the gig is fine tonight. And